Ladies and gentlemen, Darshan this side from LeapQuest, and welcome to what I believe is one of the most important considerations Indian MBA aspirants need to hear in 2026. Today, we aren't just discussing another global update, we are unpacking a shift that is silently reshaping the career mobility, leadership opportunities, and the future of Indian talent on the world stage. The Indian EU strategic partnership and mobility framework isn't just a geopolitical handshake, it's a career defining recalibration on how Europe views, welcomes, and integrates high skilled Indian professionals into its economic engine. What you're about to hear today will fundamentally change how you evaluate your MBA plans, your post MBA career geography, and even the ROI of studying abroad. Because for the first time in decades, a single bilateral agreement has aligned the interests of governments, business schools, and multinational employers, all in favor of Indian candidates. The demand curve for talent in Europe has increased and the supply gap is widening at a pace we haven't seen since the post war reconstruction era. And this is why we at LeapQuest created this exclusive analysis. We saw the data, we saw the direction, and we realized that Indian applicants needed someone to decode these developments with precision and clarity. Today's session isn't motivational, it's strategic, analytical, and deeply rooted in the real numbers presented in the entire webinar session. So let's begin. The Indian EU deal fundamentally restructures the way talent flows between continents. Europe today faces a talent deficit that exceeds 12 million skilled workers across management, digital transformation, and sustainability roles. And this isn't a vague forecast, it's a structural reality that European governments cannot solve internally. This is exactly why Indian professionals have been given unprecedented pathways in mobility, qualification recognition, and fast track visas. When you hear the term priority talent, understand that this classification did not exist for India at this scale before. With mutual recognition of educational qualifications and a reduced barrier for work permits, Europe has essentially made Indian postgraduates plug and play ready for its workforce. That means the years of struggle previous generations faced in converting study visas to work visa or proving professional credentials repeatedly are collapsing rapidly. This is one of the most pro mobility frameworks India has seen in the major economic bloc, and it aligns perfectly with the rise of Indian management talent globally. And what does this mean for MBA aspirants? It means your degrees isn't just a credential anymore, it's a mobility asset. It means European companies no longer see you as a temporary resource but as a long horizon investment. It means your chance of being hired, sponsored, and retained in the directly amplified by policy. When government, schools, and employees are aligned in your favor, your career becomes a structured escalator and not a staircase. Europeans' top business schools, whether it's INSEAD, LBS, HEC Paris, Oxford, Cambridge, ESADE, IMD, or RSM, are not just educational institutions. They are leadership pipelines for the world's most influential companies. These schools specialize in developing global generalists, leaders who can operate across markets, manage diverse teams, and execute strategy at scale. Unlike the US, Europe was always the hub for international talent, but with the new India EU framework, Indian representation, which already stands at 9 to 12%, is about to rise significantly. And what makes European MBAs exceptional is the philosophy behind them. They aren't just designed to educate you, they're designed to accelerate you. Their 1 year structure, intense experiential modules, and the global campus ecosystems create momentum that the 2 year MBAs simply cannot match. The admission committee at these institutions actively seek candidates who can bring in cross border thinking, and the Indian applicants, because of their multi industry exposure and problem solving orientation, are now seen as essential contributors to this cohort balance. What excites me the most is Europe is consciously redesigning its MBA cohorts for a more integrated, globally competitive workforce, and Indian candidates are stepping directly into this sweet spot. And if you are even remotely considering a global career, you cannot ignore the European MBA landscape in 2026. It is not just an option, it's a once in a decade inflection point. Now let's look into the post-study work opportunities. As shown in the slide, the typical 18 to 24-month post-study work visa is already one of the most generous globally. But several nations, including France and Netherlands, are exploring extensions up to 36 months for high-skilled MBA graduates. This is extraordinary because it transforms Europe from a study destination into a career destination, offering graduates time to secure strategic roles without the pressure of immediate sponsorship constraints. The introduction of the EU Blue Card with reduced eligibility thresholds is another transformative shift. Traditionally difficult for early career professionals to obtain, the Blue Card now positions MBA graduates as long term contributors, giving them a smoother path to residency from a continent struggling with demographic decline and an aging workforce. MBA graduates from India represent exactly what Europe talent wants, that is skilled, ambitious, and globally adaptive professionals. And to that, the fact that business school graduates are now considered priority skill and high impact professionals. And you begin to realize how dramatically the power dynamic has shifted. You're no longer negotiating for opportunity, the opportunity is negotiating for you. Europe is just not opening doors, it's rolling out a red carpet. What are the strategic advantages for Indian applicants? The biggest insight here is that European schools are actively prioritizing Indian candidates, not because of diversity quotas, but because Indian professionals have consistently demonstrated strong analytical, managerial, and leadership capabilities. Admission committees across Europe understand that Indian graduates convert strongly into consulting, tech jobs, which allow schools to maintain their employment metrics, a critical factor in global rankings. Diversity targets are expanding, and the schools are now able to confidently increase Indian intakes because corporate hiring pipelines have already validated the performance of Indian alumni. And this is not random, this is a decade of performance data aligning in your favor. What used to be competition heavy categories are now opportunity heavy. Indian applicants are finally in the driver's seat. Scholarship volumes are also scaling with Indian specific allocations rising at INSEAD, London Business School, and HEC Paris. When a region becomes strategically important, funds follow. And right now, Europe is channeling more scholarship money than ever into high potential Indian leadership profiles. For strong applicants, this is the most rewarding period in history to apply. And scholarship opportunities are expanding. One of the most under-discussed benefits of the Indian-EU partnership is the dramatic expansion of scholarship pools specifically targeted at Indian applicants. Schools like INSEAD now deploy over 5 million annually, with India becoming one of the fastest growing beneficiary regions. And this is not philanthropy, it's strategic talent acquisition. Schools want India's best and they're willing to invest heavily to secure them. London Business School already offers 40 plus merit and need based scholarships, and Indian applicants consistently emerge as the top recipients because of their balanced profiles, academic strength, leadership experiences, and global ambition. Similarly, even HEC Paris has expanded its Excellence Awards and the 40 fellowships for Indian women, a sign that gender and geographic diversity now directly intersect to benefit Indian candidates even more strongly. In essence, Europe is just not inviting Indian applicants, it is indirectly subsidizing their leadership journeys. When a continent wants your talent this much, an MBA stops just being just a degree and becomes a globally sponsored launchpad. Now let's look into this very interesting slide, that is the Europe's management talent shortage. Europe is facing a historic shortage of management talent across digital transformation, strategy, sustainability, and supply chain, with 750,000 roles unfilled. This isn't just a temporary market dip, it's a demographic and economic mismatch between what companies need and the talent that they have access to. As per EU labor market forecast, cited in this slide, consulting and strategy roles alone are projected to grow by 18%, while digital transformation roles will surge more than 22%. For MBA graduates, shortages like these are golden windows. Companies under talent pressure usually behave in predictable ways. They accelerate hiring loops, offer higher compensation, reduce visa barriers, and invest more in heavily in technically the leadership pathways. And this is what exactly we are seeing right now. European employers, from consulting giants to automotive leaders, are aggressively prioritizing MBA pipelines. And this is why India-EU partnership is so timely. The continent's demand and the India supply are perfectly aligned. And this is not the kind of alignment that happens often. And when it does, those who act quickly gain an extraordinary career advantage. And let's look into the geographic mobility. An MBA from Europe unlocks mobility across 25 countries, giving you access to France, UK, Germany, Netherlands, Switzerland, Spain, Italy, Ireland, Nordic regions, and even the Middle Eastern placement pipelines. No other geography in the world offers this level of cross border freedom at this particular scale. And the EU Blue Card ecosystem combined with simplified work permit process now allows MBA graduates to transition into long-term residency far more easily, especially in regions like Germany, Netherlands, France, Spain, and even Portugal. And if you aspire to build an international career that spans multiple countries, Europe gives you that mobility architecture to do it effortlessly. And this is just not a job mobility, it's a lifestyle mobility also. It gives you the option to live, work, and grow across cultures. And in a world that increasingly rewards global leaders, this is the ultimate professional luxury you can expect. Let's look into the leadership roles and the fast career growth. So, European companies prefer leaders who can operate across borders, like I've told you before, and this is where Indian MBA graduates excel. You aren't just hired for a role, you're placed on global rotation programs, strategy and transformation teams, and country leadership pipelines, and giving you access to responsibilities that normally take 4 to 6 years longer to achieve in Asian markets. The combination of short programs, intense leadership modules, and the multicultural cohorts develops your executive maturity faster, and you graduate not just with knowledge but also with global business fluency, and that kind of multinational companies immediately recognizes and reward. And if you're someone who wants to break into leadership roles early, Europe is an unmatched launch pad, and it accelerates your learning curve, expands your international exposure, and it definitely positions you for multi-geography leadership far earlier than the US or India. And it's perfect time for your MBA journey. Never in the last 20 years has the macro environment been this perfectly aligned for Indian MBA aspirants. The strengthening of the Indian EU partnership, Europe's 750,000 unfilled managerial roles, aggressive scholarship expansion, and rising corporate demand for cross-border leaders have created a career window unlike anything we have seen before. And this is the ideal time for you to apply because you're entering a market that needs you more than you need it. Companies aren't just filling roles, they're restructuring leadership pipelines to attract global thinkers, and Indian applicants with their problem solving mindset, multicultural exposure, and tech driven backgrounds stand right at the center of that demand. And if you are waiting for a sign for the universe about whether this is the right time, and definitely trust me, this is it. And the timing isn't just good, it's near perfect. And what's our role in your entire journey or in your success? At LeapQuest, our approach is not transactional, it is transformational. And we don't help you fill forms, we help you construct a leadership narrative that aligns with global expectations. By this month end, or our 4-member team ensures that your academic, extracurricular, leadership, and narrative pillars are structured to reflect the highest standards of the international MBA admissions. Your academic brilliance is amplified through research, certifications, and intellectual contributions that demonstrate your readiness for top global circular. Your extracurriculars are curated to reflect holistic, well-rounded, globally informed experiences, the kind that differentiate you in highly competitive cohorts. And when it comes to the leadership, we will help you articulate the depth of your contributions in a way that resonates deeply with the admission committee. Your essays and letter of recommendations become strategic documents and not stories, but signals that establish your credibility, character, your long-term global potential. And this is not accidental storytelling. This is deliberate, structured brand building for your particular career. And your team at LeapQuest is designed to replicate the precision of an admission board. Your head consultant and alumni from a top global school will work closely with you to craft the roadmap that is aligned with your goals and expectations of your target schools. And the quality assurance mentor serves as a second level review, ensuring that every essay, resume, and narrative element meets global clarity and authenticity benchmarks. And your dedicated essay editor polishes every document to perfection, ensuring. And guys, our mission is simple: to maximize your probability of getting into the world's best business schools. And we do this not by using templates or shortcuts, but by building a personalized, intellectually strong, and emotionally resonant application that stands out in the global pool. And we understand what top schools are looking for. That would be clarity of intent, proven leadership, and cross-cultural maturity, and a compelling narrative of impact. Our role is to help you articulate all of that in a way that is authentically you, but strategically elevated. Every document you submit becomes a reflection of the leader you're becoming, not just the profession you already are. Your transformation begins the moment you start working with us, and by the time your application is submitted, your story becomes a masterpiece that commands attention, respect, and the admission success. We have seen applicants transform their careers, elevate their confidence, and build completely new global identities through the MBA process. And we want the same for you, no matter where you are in your journey, confusion, exploration, preparation, or even application. Our team is there to guide you with clarity, conviction, and unmatched expertise. And if you're ready for your next chapter, we are ready to help you write it. Let's take this leap together. You can always reach out to us on our website, and there's a form on our website. You can reach out to us on the leapquest.com, or you can write to us at info@theleapquest.com, or you can just call us at 93532 56447. Hope the session was informative, and I'm very glad and happy that the previous sessions are also accepted in a very positive manner. And definitely, we are coming up with more webinar sessions to help you guide the entire 2027 intake planners, be it the January intake or the September intake. We're going to be there. We're going to support you, and we're going to give you as much as information as possible. Thank you so much, guys. Have an amazing Sunday. Take care.